This is the Brewers POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Milwaukee Brewers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
The beat goes on for our Milwaukee Brewers opening their series in Atlanta with another victory. They're not one, not two, but fourth win in a row, and it was all behind the arm of Quinn Priester, the right-hander, going 7 strong this evening, just allowing 1 run. Issac Collins coming up clutch for this team. We'll talk about the big blow he delivered in the 4th inning, plus your thoughts, your reactions to a 3-1 Brewers win over the Atlanta Braves in Game 1 of their 3-game series. 24 games over 500 now is this Brewers team, and it's hard not to just smile and be happy about saying that out loud. Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Locked On Brewers postcast. As always, my name is Brandon Snide. You can follow me over on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Brandon_Snide. Follow all of my work over at WTMJ.com, where we cover all of our Wisconsin sports teams. Thank you, as always, to each and every one of you for always making Locked On Brewers part of your day each and every day. Remember, we are free and available wherever you get audio podcasts: Apple, Google, Spotify, tons of fantastic podcast apps, as well as over on YouTube, where we are live right now. Go to that search bar, type in Locked On Brewers. Do me a favor, 3 things: hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, get notified when we go live, and do me a solid favor. I see a bunch of you lined up on the YouTube live chat. Hit that thumbs up button for me. Give me a thumbs up on a Brewers 3-1 win over the Braves, all behind the arm of Quinn Priester. We'll dive into that. We'll dive into Issac Collins. We'll dive into some injuries still facing this Brewers team and just what this team continues to do, and that is just taking care of business. And that has been something I wouldn't say worried about going into this road trip, but something I definitely wanted to keep an eye on with this team. And I had no doubt about it, led behind Pat Murphy, that they would keep going in the direction that they were going in, certainly over the month of July. And as we get into August, let's quickly get into your scoring summary this evening, brought to you by FanDuel and 5-Hour Energy. And it didn't take long for this one to get going. The Brewers would get shut down in the the top of the 1st inning, but the Atlanta Braves jumping right on Quinn Priester at first at bat. Jurickson Profar for Atlanta, going to right field, 390 feet. That would be in the 1st inning, and that would be it for the rest of the game for Quinn Priester, just allowing that 1 run. But that would take us up to our next scoring summary here in the 4th inning, with guys on 1st and 3rd and out. That was recorded earlier in the inning. Issac Collins would come up to the plate, and ladies and gentlemen, in a 3-1 win, this is your turning point.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
A 3-run, no doubt, absolutely no doubter from Issac Collins off the bat, 376 feet to right field. And he had just been named earlier in the day the player of the month for the month of July. He was on the MLB Network getting a live interview in a pregame segment out there in Atlanta at Truist Park. And what a performance from Issac Collins at the plate. What a performance overall from Issac Collins since he's been up here as a Milwaukee Brewer. I talked about him earlier in the year, and offensively, when I talked about him offensively, it wasn't putting up the numbers that we're seeing him put up now. He was 4 for 10 over the weekend in Washington, where everybody kind of hit the ball around. But today, 1 for 2 was Issac Collins. He did have a walk as well mixed in there. And again, the 3 runs batted in, and that would be really all this Brewers team needed to secure the win today over the Atlanta Braves for their 68th win by a final score of 3-1 in Game 1 of this 3-game series. And look, again, I don't want to sound like I'm copping out here, but you got to have a 1B, 1B player of the game. So let's just dive into it.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
First things first, a little PSA for some of my Brewers friends and family members, certainly. You still have time. I don't know how much time, but there's still a little bit of time if you want to go back and delete those Quinn Priester text messages, those angry ones. If you want to go back and delete the old Quinn Priester tweets that you might still have out there in the Twitterverse, you might want to still, take back some of those words that you mentioned negatively when Matt Arnold decided to make the trade. At the time, the Brewers were desperate. At the time, injuries were plaguing this starting rotation. Remember, at one point, it was just Freddie Peralta that was really your only bona fide starter in the rotation. They had to make a move. Quinn Priester was that guy, a high pick for Pittsburgh, didn't pan out. Went to Boston, didn't really pan out. Got traded from Boston to Milwaukee. A lot of fans, a lot of you, and maybe some of you are watching and you're shaking your head saying, I was glad I was wrong, because I've certainly have been there. I was there with Pat Murphy. I was not a fan when he first got hired. I thought that losing Craig Counsell would have a bigger impact. So I can admit when I was wrong. I was definitely wrong then, gladly. And I think a lot of us and a lot of you probably wrong about Quinn Priester. 1A player of the game, 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run. One of those hits was the earned run, and that was it for Quinn Priester. A absolutely dominant performance from the right-hander. Thank you, Chris Hook. Thank you, Jim Henderson. Chris Hook's birthday today, by the way, so happy birthday to Chris Hook, 57th birthday for the pitching coach for our Milwaukee Brewers, and what a birthday gift he gets on the mound from Quinn Priester. 7 strong innings. This game, I know in the 8th inning there with Abner Uribe, you guys know that's my guy. It got a little tension, a little nervousness probably setting in that 8th inning. Had no fear at all. When Quinn Priester, after that first inning, he settled in. He had a couple of innings where he just threw single-digit pitches in those innings and completely just dominated the Atlanta offense. Now, again, let's preface this with Atlanta's not a very good team right now and won't be in the postseason. And it's a different Atlanta team than we may have seen in years past, but still a professional baseball team. And Quinn Priester shoved them today in Atlanta and dominated them for 7 innings. And then your 1B player of the game. And I don't want to cop out because it kind of sounds like it, but the Brewers only had 3 hits this evening. Issac Collins had the biggest one out of those 3, and it gave their Brewers their only 3 runs. A bit different of a game, offensively speaking, than any of the games in Washington, where they put up 38 runs over 3 games and had a bunch of hits. A bit of a different game for this team, but I think it was a good thing that this game was close in a little bit. You're able to get Abner Uribe some work. You're able to get Trevor McGill some work, who, by the way, secured his 25th save of the season. Trevor McGill, that is. So you're able to kind of get those guys, some work. And it was just Abner and it was just Trevor McGill. As we mentioned, Quinn Priester went 7 strong, but Issac Collins got to get the 1B player of the game, because when you deliver the hit that is the difference in a ball game, the 3-run homer in the 4th inning. I say 3-run home run, and the Brewers only scored 3 runs. I don't even think they had a hit after that home run from Issac Collins. So offensively speaking for the Brewers, not a terrific day at the plate. Give credit where credit's due for Atlanta. The hit that the Brewers had, one of the 3 that they had, was the only one that they need for the rest of the game. So Quinn Priester getting your 1A player of the game, 7 innings pitched, only 2 hits, the 1 earned run, the solo shot from Profar in the very, very bottom of the 1st inning. That was it for Quinn Priester as far as runs go. He was just absolutely dominant tonight. And again, the thing with Quinn Priester when he got here earlier was the command for throwing pitches. 90 pitches thrown today, almost 60 of them landing for strikes, 59 to be exact. ERA now down to 3.15 for Quinn Priester. 11-2 on the season is Quinn, but the Brewers as a team have now won 12 straight in which Quinn Priester has either started or pitched in one of those games. Remember, a handful of those games, DL Hall would start for him for the first 2 or 3 innings and whatnot. He would eventually become the starter going forward. But 12 straight games now has this Brewers team won in a game in which Quinn Priester has either started or made an appearance in. And again, from where we were earlier in the year with Quinn Priester to where we are now is just absolutely remarkable. It's truly special. I mean, he has turned in to one of the best pitchers in this rotation. And quite frankly, one of the best pitchers in all of Major League Baseball. As he gets the win tonight, the Brewers get the win. Trevor McGill saving it. Abner Uribe holding it down in the 8th inning. 68-44 are this Brewers team. 4th straight win, and I don't think they're going to be slowing down anytime soon. Your thoughts, your reactions, and of course, guys, you got it. The Brewers win. Your celebrations, all welcomed on the program. We will get to all of it coming up right after this. Today's Locked On Brewers postcast is brought to you by our wonderful partners over at 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavors of your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this is a one in a hole for your energy game. And let's be honest, some days on the course, or if you're like me, off it, you just need that extra boost to stay sharp and stay energized. And right now, 5 Hour Energy is offering you a great deal. If you go to 5hourenergy.com, that's the number 5hourenergy.com, you can use my promo code LOCKEDONGolf. Yes, you're listening to a Brewers postcast show, and now you're asking yourself, oh, golf, that's okay. Locked On Golf is my promo code, and you get 20% off of your order. This offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. The code is not good on subscription orders as well. So keep that in mind when you go to 5hourenergy.com. Whether you're meeting up with friends or staying up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36 holes, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion flavored 5 Hour Energy shots today. Once again, that's 5hourenergy.com. Today's program also brought to you by our wonderful partners over at FanDuel. Summer sports in full swing, whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or that high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're already following the action, so why not make it a little more thrilling? And with FanDuel, you can get on the game while your friends are getting sunburned over there at Bradford Beach. And if you're new to FanDuel, right now is the best time for you to sign up. New customers can bet just $5. And listen, guys, you bet your first $5. If that first bet wins, your first $5 bet wins, you get $150 in bonus bets. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. Once again, your first $5 bet hits, you get $150 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. A 3-1 Milwaukee Brewers win over the Braves in Atlanta for their 4th of the year. Quinn Priester, 7 strong innings. Issac Collins providing all the offense this Brewers team would need. Trevor McGill holding it down in the 9th inning, securing his 25th save. And the Brewers just keep on winning, taking care of business, beating teams all weekend and starting today that they should have beat and have beaten. Once again, with the Washington Nationals, they did exactly what they needed to do, and they're starting off on the right foot against the struggling Atlanta Braves, and overall, one of the best pitching performances we've seen from Quinn Priester all year. Let's begin with our everydayer Greens Farm. Again, your thoughts, your reactions, all welcomed on the program. If you guys could do me a favor, make sure you hit that subscribe button on our channel, hit that thumbs up. As Green Farm says, Brew Crew doing Brew Crew things. Look, man, we've seen games in which the Brewers lost where it was frustrating, right? You go back to that Marlins series really not that long ago, and you're like, God, that team is just annoying. Like every at-bat is a struggle. Every at-bat is a fight. It's exactly what you're getting with this Brewers team. I mean, they had 3 hits tonight. The Brewers, that is. I know Atlanta did as well. 3 runs on 3 hits, and it was 1 swing to the bat. And we haven't seen a lot of that from the right. The power numbers for this Brewers team aren't great, and they're not going to wow you. But that's another way that they're beating you. And you go look at the series against the Nationals, where everybody had a hit, including me and you, in that series. Maybe except us. Actually, I don't know if we actually had a hit. I don't think they counted us for a hit, but we probably could have, but we didn't. But they did. The Brewers had a ton of them, and they're winning ball games in so many different ways. Whether it's Quinn Priester going 7 strong innings, whether it's the bullpen having locking things down in the back half. Remember, 60-2 is this Brewers team when they lead after 8 innings. Like, they are really, really good on the back end of the bullpen. Or it's the offense, like we saw in Washington with all of those runs scored. Or it's just 1 swing to the bat this evening in Atlanta off the bat of Issac Collins. Just absolutely, it's remarkable how special this team is. It's so many Brewers teams in years past where you either had to wait for the big home run off the bat of Brawny or Fielder or one of those guys, or else you just weren't getting any runs scored. Not with this team. They come at you with waves. It's a different player. It feels like almost every game. Tonight was two of them, obviously, the two players of the game, and Quinn and Issac Collins, but it's every night. It doesn't matter who's injured either, right? Sal Frelick not in the lineup tonight. We know Jackson Churio's not in the lineup tonight. Doesn't matter. Since those guys have left, the Brewers have only lost one game, Jackson Churio, that is, and that game 3 against the Cubs. And they just keep finding, ways to win and next man up mentality. And I know it's a sports cliche, but it really is true with this team, man. Nobody takes a break. And when you're in that lineup, they don't give anybody a break. Kevin over on YouTube, Matt Arnold deserves a lot of credit for picking up Priester. Quinn has been nothing short of dominant nearly every start. Timely offense by the Brewers and the reigning NL Rookie of the month. I guess I'm going to get on the bandwagon. I really don't know if there's a true bandwagon or if there's a ton of people out there. Issac Collins should be your Rookie of the Year right now. Should be a front runner for Rookie of the Year. I don't necessarily think that's a hot take or a biased take or whatnot. Issac Collins has been really, really good. Batting .281, this season, has stepped in. What was an infielder by trade, has stepped into the outfield, been flawless out in, defensively speaking. He's been clutch. How many times go a couple weeks ago, where you were stretching that 11-game win streak, and then certainly right after, did Issac Collins come up to the plate with, less than 2 outs, or maybe there was 2 outs and guys in scoring position in a tight ball game. And we saw in that game against the Chicago Cubs in game 1, after Jacob Misiorowski went into the hole 3-0 early, Issac Collins was the one getting that team back into it, offensively speaking. He has been amazing. I mean, he has been absolutely fantastic. Has landed over on YouTube, says NL Rookie of the Year. I couldn't agree any more with that. I think it's absolutely fantastic what they have found in Issac Collins, and it just speaks volumes. This Issac Collins was on nobody's radar whatsoever. It speaks volumes at the professional player development that this organization has really honed in on over the last decade or so. Go back 7-8 years or so. I mean, it's miles above any other team off the top of my mind right now when you talk about an actual player development. And the Brewers at the trade down caught a little flack, right? Why aren't you willing to ship guys off to go get other guys? Why aren't you willing to ship these guys off to go get a 2 or 3 month rental? I don't know. We saw it in Washington. I'll take Logan Henderson over for 6 more years than I will with Eugenio Suarez for 2 months. That's just me, though, personally. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe it's not. That's why you hold on to a guy like Issac Collins. You never know what's going to happen, offensively speaking, defensively speaking, when these injuries pop up. Anthony Siegler's been fantastic in his time up here, being able to play multiple different positions and come off the bench. The way the Brewers do business isn't a lot of fans don't like it, but I think at the end of it, we all got to come to respect it at some point. I certainly wanted more after they lost Willy Adames. Certainly earlier in the year, they certainly struggled. And I wasn't happy with it. But I think at some point, maybe I'm wrong, and I got to look in the mirror and be like, yeah, they probably know what they're doing. Every day, or Nick, a little different way to win. Priester did Priester things. Issac Collins is super close, second for player of the game. Have to be able to win this way come playoffs. Nice win. Keep it going. It's so hard when you have a 3-1 win, Nick, to your point. And Quinn throws 7 scoreless, but Issac Collins also delivers the separation for the win, as far as runs scored. It's hard to pick one. See, I'm a little bit of a cop out this evening, so if you guys will excuse me, got to go with a 1A, 1B. Sterling over on YouTube says, every game this team finds ways to pick it up for each other. Truly a 9-inning game every time out. Power of friendship at work. Power of friendship, the power of the pocket pancake from Pat Murphy. I mean, it goes back, Sterling, thank you for your comment. It goes back to what I was talking about earlier in the show. Is it so many different ways that this team beats you? Like, I couldn't imagine. First off, I would never be able to root for another team, but I couldn't imagine going up against the Pat Murphy-led Milwaukee Brewers. Are they going to score 16 runs? Because we just saw them do that. Are they going to throw 7 strong innings? Because, well, they can do that. Is it going to be a tight game at the end? Because they can unload one of the best bullpens, if not the best back end of the bullpen in Major League Baseball. They can do that. Defensively, they can do that. They don't take a ton of strikeouts. They take their walks. They're hard to punch out at any point in the game. This is a hard team. I would lose sleep preparing to play this team. It's one of those teams. Woodworking Outdoorsman, part of our everydayer, says Issac Collins named Rookie of the Month and goes off with a 3-run blast. Love this team. And staying even keeled, right? And it goes back to the beginning of the year, Woodworking Outdoorsman, to your point, where this team was low, right? They were not doing good, under 500, just not injuries. But Pat Murphy was right here, right? He was level, right? Not too low, not getting too worried. But then they go on an 11-game win streak. Coach, reporters, well, how do you feel, Pat? How do you feel? You just won 11 in a row. You're one more win away from giving the 5 counties free George Webbs. And he goes, it's July 21st, and that's what you come to respect. And that mentality has certainly rubbed off on that clubhouse. I don't think there's any doubt about it. He has such a beat on the pulse of that clubhouse. It's hard to, again, it's going to sound like a biased opinion, but if you look around the National League, who's doing a better job this year than manager Pat Murphy? And I know he won manager of the year last year, rightfully so. I would say this year, he deserves it even more, to be quite honest with you. Charles Everydayer Miller over there on YouTube says that patterned Brewers pop winning a game again, Rookie of the Month, still hot in the month of August. Again, just doing it in the way that they were really have built their strength around this team, right? Starting pitching and bullpen, and then you get a timely hit from the Rookie of the Month for the month of July, and it's absolutely just amazing. Charles also over on YouTube saying it's truly amazing how well Priester is pitching, and to bounce back from a leadoff home run shows some serious moxie. Again, never too high, never too low. I know I just got done kind of explaining myself with that. That's the mentality I can guarantee you that Quinn Priester was carrying in that first inning. You see a leadoff home run. First off, you see a handful of runs. They may still be scoring runs in Washington from over the weekend. You come, over to Atlanta, you give up a home run at your first at bat, and then you're like, okay, now we're playing from behind a little bit here. Let's see, let's kind of right the ship. And did he ever right the ship from that moment forward? Quinn Priester, that is, only allowing 1 hit after that. The big thing with him has always been control for Quinn. Only 2 walks this evening on 90 pitches thrown for Quinn Priester, 4 strikeouts. When and it was always that thing with Quinn. But you knew, if you were a Brewers fan, you've been following this team. We talk about the quote unquote pitching lab and the job that Chris Hook and Jim Henderson have done. You knew it was kind of like the Andrew Vaughn thing. I'll get to that in a second. But you saw the talent that Quinn had and the potential that he had. And I remember being on this program, and I remember saying, I'm going to give it time. I want to see this thing play out. I'm going to give, I know he struggled against Chicago in early parts of May, but I'm going to give this a little bit of time and look what's come, to fruition. Same thing with Andrew Vaughn. The 3rd overall pick for a reason, guys. The talent was always there. Again, that professional player development in Milwaukee is much different than Pittsburgh, much different than Chicago. Sean over on YouTube said this team seems to be seeing the ball better than others. Scoring runs with 2 outs is something the Brewers were never really known for. This team is doing it consistently. Number 1 in baseball since June 1st with weighted runs created plus. So it's not the 11-game win streak in July. It's not a really good month of July. This has been the Brewers team for over 2 months now, for more than half of the season now. Really in parts of May, if you want to go to the 8-game win streak they had at the back end of May as well. This has been this team, so I completely agree with Sean. James over on YouTube says a strong rotation, and the Brewers rotation is beyond deep. It's sick deep. It's the key to winning a series in October. Imagine Woody, Priester, Peralta, Miz, and more. Interesting to think about. Probably a good, I don't want to say a good problem because that would insinuate that there's a problem, but if you had to label it right now, 3 starters, going into October, if you're in the wild card series or you're in the NLDS, 3 is a lot, picking your top 3 starters is a lot harder right now. Certainly you would probably anticipate that it would be Jacob Mizorowski. We'll see where his innings are at the end of the year. I still have a lot of faith in Brandon Woodruff. What Quinn Priester has shown me now, I don't know how you look the other way. Freddie Peralta, not a great start against the Chicago Cubs after his last, but he's still a leader on this team, in that clubhouse, in that rotation. So it would be hard to look the other way for him as well. But then you have, I'm not going to put him in the playoffs right now as part of the rotation, but Logan Henderson is a guy that has done nothing but win, literally, since he's been up here this year for the Brewers. I was hoping and praying at the trade deadline, he wouldn't be involved in any trade talks or wouldn't have been dealt. And I'm so glad the Brewers kept him, and we saw what he can do when he was called up, drove down from Pennsylvania to the nation's capital and threw 4 2/3 of scoreless ball and had a fantastic outing. And this Brewers team, again, can just beat you in so many different ways. It's absolutely remarkable. Ed over on YouTube says, I love the hard-nosed play of this Brewers with great pitching. It's the manager. It's Murph ball, right? It's make the other team feel you. Whether you win or you lose, make the other team feel you. And that's what they're doing. That's really what they're doing. I mean, in so many different ways. And it's been just absolutely remarkable for this team as they secure the 3-1 win over the Braves in Atlanta in game 1 of their 3-game series, 24 games over 500, 32-24 on the season on the road. So something that we had talked about, I remember in mid-May, and I remember saying that, this team was, and they were not good on the road. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, the record exactly where they were when I said it, but it wasn't good. I know it was more than 5 games under 500. And I said, if this team's going to get it turned around, it got to get better on the road. You got to turn that road record around. And the schedule was pointing to a lot more tougher road series. And this was going into June and July. And obviously we talked about how important the month of August is. They got to keep that up. And that's certainly a great start on this 6-game road trip here. Now on the road, they're 4-0, looking for win number 5 tomorrow. And we'll talk about it after the last out. My thanks to each and every one of you. I cannot thank you guys enough for always making this show a priority, making it part of your everyday life and everydayers. I thank you guys so much. Remember, we are free and available wherever you guys get podcasts, Apple, Google, Spotify, tons of other podcast apps. My name is Brandon Snide. You can follow me on X, formerly Twitter, at Brandon_Snide. And of course, you can get everything that we do. If it's the Daily Show with my guy Chuck Freeman, or it's me on the Postcast, you can get us all on YouTube. Just go to that search bar, type in Locked On Brewers, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit that thumbs up button for me. Would you please do me a solid favor? And we'll talk about hopefully another Brewers win tomorrow in game 2. And as always, win, lose, or draw, it certainly feels better after the Brewers have now won, not 1, not 2, but 4 in a row. But nonetheless, it is always go Brewers. Have a good one, everyone. Talk to you tomorrow.